Come on. Here we go. Huh. I probably should have unhooked this ratchet strap from the rim before I did that, but other than that, it was all right. Guys, welcome back to the channel. Just got home from the main shop. Gonna do a little work at home in the garage tonight. Last weekend, I was on Marketplace. We were up camping. It was about 10 o'clock at night. The fire was about to burn out. And I hit Marketplace up, typed in Model A. I do that a lot. Model A, Model T, Model A frame, whatever. And I happened to stumble across a Model A coupe that was being used as lawn art. Basically, it was in a little flower bed rock garden thing. And it said $999 or taking bids is what it actually was once you got into the description. So I'm looking at this thing. It's pretty cool. 28 Model A coupe. Basically everything was there. And it happens to be that I knew the guy that owned it. So I gave him a message on there. Hadn't seen him in about 4 years. And we made a deal. And I went up and picked this coupe up. Check it out. It's awesome. 28 Model A coupe. Pretty cool. I did put different wheels and tires on it that I had laying here. Actually, I just picked two up last week from a gentleman, dropped them off at the shop, and the other two I had actually were turned into like some kind of wagon wheels. Not wagon wheels, but like cart wheels. They had a hub welded up, and they were on that, so you could weld it to make a little trailer or whatever. Anyway, we got it all rolling now, and yeah, check this thing out. Pretty cool. Everything's here on it. The only thing that was missing on it was the back part of the other fender, the driver's side rear fender. There was no deck lid on it, and the tail pan's missing. Got a 2x6 in there though. That's pretty cool. Here, let's open the garage door and get a little light on it. There, that's better. Got ourselves a nice rough cut piece of 2x5 or whatever that is in there for the tail pan. Pretty cool. It's kind of neat to see one all together. Usually when someone's selling one online, it's just the body that's rotted halfway up the doors or whatever. But yeah, this one's all here. Got some rust repair to do, obviously, but all in all, it's in pretty good shape. And believe it or not, when we hooked the winch on it to pull it out of the flower bed it was in, it pulled right out and all four wheels spun yet. The tires that were on it, well, here's one rim. And what's left of the original tires from the thing. Pretty much all junk. But got these ones on as soon as I got home, rolled it off the trailer, and here it sits. So I'm going to get the four-wheeler fired up and try to get this thing in the garage, and we're going to monkey with it a little bit. Because one of the other cool things that we realized when we got it on the trailer is the engine still turns over in it. You can grab the fan blade and turn it over. So I brought my borescope home. We're going to look down in that engine and see what the valves look like and everything. There was still oil in it, so that's a good sign. Maybe, just maybe, this thing will still run. We'll find out. Well, will it move?
You just need women to help you.
Yeah. Putting air in the tires probably helped too. Groovy, thank you.
That felt easy. Oh my. Oh my, it's nice back here.
Let's see here. Let's take a look at the distributor. Yeah, we got one wire in the back. Let's take that one off, get the cap off. Yeah, we got something growing in there, but the electrodes look good and the center pin looks good in there. Cool, we'll put that up here. So if we go in here and pull this way, I think it did. Let's take a peek. So we're sitting there right now at that angle. Go back over here, pull it, push it down. Yeah, sure enough. So that's the timing control, so the advance works on it yet too. I'm sure we'll have to file the points. Here's the rotor. Yeah, it looks fairly decent. The end is kind of, oh no, just some stuff growing on it. Points, they look a little rough, not gonna lie, but we can get those. Let's pull some spark plugs and see what's going on inside the engine. Yeah, we're gonna go get a socket for that. That is one of the valves in cylinder 1. I'm guessing that is the intake valve right there. Looks pretty crusty. 4th cylinder. That one actually looks pretty clean. Work some oil into it. get it down in the valve seats and down in the pistons, and just slowly turn it over for a few nights anyway, and see if we can get it running. Maximum protection transmission fluid. And let's put a dollop in each cylinder. Here's my flashlight. And I guess let's go at it. Boy, there is a pile of rust in number 2. Before I put this in, I'm gonna grab a screwdriver. Who's the longest? We'll grab this guy, he's skinny. I'm gonna grab a screwdriver and see if that chunk of rust comes off. It sure does. Yeah, it's loose. Big old chunk of stuff in there. All right. Number 1, you get some. Oh. Number 2, you get some. Number 3, you get some. And number 4, oh shoot, spilling everywhere. It's all right. That'll just clean the head up. All right, wipe that up a little. Now, what would be really cool is if I had the crank for this thing to put on the crankshaft to try to roll it over, but I do not. You know what? I'll get that vacuum going again and see if I can get some of these leaves out of here. What do we got on the front? Yeah, we got the hook on there yet. No crank though. Did find a tire iron in here. We'll just have to try it rolling it over with the fan, I guess. I guess if your belt tension wasn't good enough, you could just whack a 2x4 between the block and the generator. Pretty neat. Fan blade pull. There we go. Oh, she's moving. Oh. Got a tight spot. Oh. I hear compression, or at least hear a cylinder going up and down. Okay. Got any? Oh, I see a valve open. Perfect. Number 2 intake valve is open. Oh, the other one's got a lot of transmission fluid in them. I'm going to put a little more in number 2 now that the valve is open. Very cool. All right, guys, getting dark again, but it's been about 72 hours since we left off on this thing where we got it rolling over. So I just got back from the shop a little while ago, rounded up some parts, grabbed a different coil, a 12-volt coil, a 6-volt, a 12 to 6-volt reducer for the battery. Just gonna see how that works out. I did not have an actual ballast resistor for a coil, so I put this one of them units on there, the 12 to 6-volt reducer. Might be too much, might not have good sparks, so we're gonna find out here shortly. But I got this thing turning over a lot better. The valves actually started to seal. Every night I came home and put tranny fluid in all 4 of the cylinders. The back one it feels like perfect compression. When that hits the compression stroke, you can barely pull the fan over anymore. And as the days progressed, I kept putting transmission fluid in it, which was leaking out of the exhaust all over the floor like the last time. And I started getting compression back on 3 right away, number 2 a little bit, and number 1 had a complete and total exhaust leak, and you could hear the compression just coming in and out of the exhaust manifold down on the bottom when I turned it over. I just cleaned up all the spark plugs, that's some other stuff. Wire wheeled all the spark plugs, cleaned the distributor cap, cleaned the rotor, filed the points, set the gap already on this, and if I put the plug in the back here, yep, barely turned the fan. There, that one's got compression. Best one of them all. 3rd cylinder back, let's try that. Pull that out a little more. Yep, oh yeah. That one's just as good as 4 now, actually. Go up to 2. Oh yeah, that's just as good as well. Number 1, a little weak, but maybe it got better, I don't know. Oh, that, yeah, exhaust valve's leaking, I can hear it. So listen down by the exhaust. Yeah, Yeah, definitely leaking down there when the piston's coming up, but you know what? We got 3 of them sealing really good. Maybe if we get it fired up and start sucking some fuel through, we might be able to clean out the rest of the debris under that exhaust valve in number 1. So I guess from here, we're gonna run over to the inside. I'm gonna pull the seats and stuff out of here, make a little room, get it a little cleaner. There's a bunch of wood and stuff sitting here yet, and let's get a battery in there and see if that starter works next. Let's get this out of here. Ooh. Put that over there. The ground cable is completely destroyed. Well, they had this idea. That was pretty cool. Probably all they had laying around. For us, it'll be a vice grip on the ground. Yeah, that should work. Will the hot fit on it, though? Grab this step bit and hog this out on the bottom till it just press fits around that terminal. Yeah, now we got some nice shiny in there and a couple steps. Will it fit? Oh, it's pretty happy actually. We're gonna go a little further. There we go. Remember, the Model A has a positive ground electrical system. Ford was the first automaker to do this, and for good reason, due to the gases from the battery. The positive terminal always had a tendency to collect corrosion and cause poor connection. Yeah, I got my battery backwards. Flip our old battery around, which gets our terminals inboard from the frame rail, which I already like better. Except for the fact that we're going to be dropping it right on the clutch arm if we don't put a bungee on it. But hey, I have bungees. Let's bend this up a little. Starter gets a negative. All right. Which now it makes sense why the hole was too small in the battery cable over here, because if you guys didn't know this, the negative terminal on a battery is smaller diameter than the hot. And now I'm a little bit loose over here, but we should be all right. And then put our negative, or I'm sorry, our hot. Now, our body is charged with the hot side of the battery. Here we go, guaranteed cranks, let's go. Ooh. Ooh, we got a loose connection there. Oh. I'm guessing the Bendix is stuck, which is no big deal. All right, so the Bendix is probably stuck. It's not a Bendix in these actually. It's a worm gear. When it takes off on the motor, the centrifugal force rolls it up a set of basically splines, basically threads, and puts the gear into the flywheel. So obviously that's stuck, and obviously, well, hopefully we're spinning the right way now because apparently they're positive ground. So let's unhook our chassis positive, not our chassis ground. We'll just take that right the heck off the battery. And well, let's pull the starter off because we got an issue. All right. So as you can see down in here, that's what I was talking about. It's basically an old screw on the inside of this gear, and when it starts taking off, when the DC motor takes off, the starter motor, centrifugal force should pull this gear down these threads. I can't get that gear to move, so I'm going to clean all this up and try to get the thing moving freely back and forth on these threads. Hit the threads. Oh, yeah, look at that. That's how it's supposed to work. We're ready to hook the battery back up. And now I can tell you, she's gonna crank right over. All right, here goes. I'm gonna hit this switch and she's gonna roll right over. Or not. Now she's gonna roll over. All right, she rolled over. I'm gonna grab my rod here, watch the fan, obviously. Oh yeah. Wow, 12 volts really sends that 6-volt starter around, doesn't it? Awesome. Because this car is positive ground, I need to switch my coil wires around because the output coming from the distributor, from the points, is actually going to be the hot side of the coil, and the negative is actually going to be the switch side going to the battery. So I have to do that yet real quick too, but we're going to do that. The points are set. I filed the points earlier, and we'll wheel it over again after that, and technically we should have spark coming out of the coil wire. Obviously it's just going to be sparking for all 4 cylinders out of this coil wire, and if we have that, then we can roll the plugs back in, put the cap and rotor back on it, hook our little bands up to the spark plugs, and technically maybe if we hit it with a little ether or something, it should fire up. Technically. We'll figure it out. I'm just going to check for some compression here real quick. That one's leaking. Woo! That one's, oh my god. All right. Well, I need a rag. The back two I knew were good, so... Oh, that's gonna be an oily mess on the plugs. Anyway, get some wire, hook up that coil, and switch these around. Okay, so where we're at right now, like I said, filed the points already. We got our ignition all hooked up. I switched the cables around on the coil because we have a positive ground, not a negative ground system. Switch is on in the car, and I have the coil wire coming up to this plug. Woohoo! All right, that's some good spark. Wow. This thing will run. Let's roll the plugs back in this sucker and put the distributor cap and rotor back on and spray a little ether in it. See if she lights up. All right. Let's give her a crank. Let's give her a whirl. It runs. You see that? That's all tranny fluid and penetrating grease. I can't, it popped right off immediately. Awesome. I pulled the fuel line off. Pulled this fuel line off the, whatever they call those things. I don't know, the Coupe valve coming out of the firewall. I'm sure that's some type of filter. Some of them had a glass filter here. I don't know what the story... Oh, there's something... Oh, the filter's gone. Okay. That was probably a filter housing. I'm guessing that's what that is. I'm going to take this 8090 applicator valve off an 8090 jug, and I'm going to ram this thing inside this fuel line. And I don't have any premium gas here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2-year-old 2-cycle fuel in it, and we're going to fill that carburetor up, see what leaks down there. We'll get a good idea if the carburetor is going to hold fuel or not, and then I'll crank it over, and if it actually fires off of it, then we know the main jet's not plugged. But I have a strong feeling. I mean, we're going to do it anyway. We're going to pull that carburetor apart and clean it. But if I fill the bowl and it actually fires out of the bowl with 2-stroke, I'd say we're in pretty good shape. So let's put some fuel inside this line and see where it starts leaking out on the bottom end. Well, it's going down in there. Is it leaking yet? No. You know what? It slowed down on that last one, which leads me to believe that the needle and seat is actually, for some unknown reason, actually still working after all these years. So a little bit more. I can hear it creeping in, but we're not leaking out of the carburetor yet. So a little more. Let's crank it up. All right, here we go. Let's try it. All right, well, it didn't start like that, but let's get in here. Let me climb in. Turn the ignition off quick. Let's try turning the choke on, which still works. Ignition on. Holy crap. Woo! Wow. It runs. Yeah, it fired right up. Fired right up on 2-stroke. Completely gassed the garage out in about 5 seconds of runtime, due to the oil in the cylinders, the transmission fluid, and the penetrating grease. But that thing took right off as soon as I turned the choke on. Very cool. I can't wait to get this thing out here and fire it up a little longer. I think that's probably going to be it for tonight, because I am not going to sit inside that thing and crank it up again and try to breathe in that garage. So tomorrow when the sun comes up, we're going to pull that out in the driveway. All right, guys. Well, we got a little daylight this morning before I head into the shop, and I want to get this Model A out of the garage. Over the last couple days, I did a few more things to it just to make it drive on its own. One of which is my handy dandy gas tank ratchet strapped to the side of the pillar. We did have it running the other night on this fuel can, and it runs pretty good. It actually pretty much idles at this point. It's amazing that carburetor didn't need any type of service whatsoever. I mean, the needle and seat works, the jets aren't plugged, it idles, it revs up. That seems to all be in order. I also threw a bus seat in here really quick just for something to sit on. Welded it off to the rails last night, just so I don't fall through the floorboards while I try to put it in gear and let the clutch out and see what happens. Gonna hook our battery up with the old vice grips. All right. First drive in many, many years, hopefully. Really? There we go. There's the reverse. Oh, that's awesome. Huh. I think we're low on fuel. The bowl seems to be running out. That tank was leaking a little bit, and I'm guessing maybe there's not quite enough flow on it. Enough push. No, actually we're full on the filter. It just runs like crap. All right, one more round here. And we're losing our battery. That's no good. Probably should bungee cord that. I was gonna see if the brakes worked. It felt like they worked. Now I gotta start it again. That felt like... Yeah, I think the brakes work yet on it too. Yep, the brakes work on the thing yet too. That's awesome. So clutch works, brakes work, transmission works, it goes in drive. We got a good deal here. Battery unhooked. Beautiful. Thanks for watching, guys. Till next time.